but I have seen in my daughter some fear and anxiousness. In fact, there's stories that I've been showing her that are in the Bible about people being brave, like how Esther was brave, right? She stood up and she went before the king, even though she knew that she could be killed. And then there's Daniel in the lion's den. He still prayed to God, and he wasn't afraid to go into that lion's den. And even if he was afraid, come to think of it, he still trusted God, right? Because it is kind of scary to be in front of lions. So, but he trusted God in that, right? So I've been teaching like my daughter that, and we've been praying through things and just being like, hey, you're not afraid. Even though she says, I'm afraid. I'm like, no, like you're not afraid. You know why? Because Jesus is with you. So this story is, we went to the park one day, and she is like running around with me and KJ, just having loads of fun. And then she goes up on the play structure to the slide. She goes to the top of the slide, and I'm like starting to walk over, and I see her going like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. And then she starts to turn to get up and like walk away from the slide, like she tends to do when the slide is too high. But then she like turns back and she's like, wait, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. And she keeps stating, I'm not afraid. And she's holding on to the sides of the slide, and she's going down. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Like, and my mama heart was like, oh, she's getting it. But something more happened that was just like, oh, the Lord is working it in her too. Because she gets to the bottom of the slide, her eyes get so big, and she goes, I'm not afraid. And then she goes back up the steps, and she goes to the top of the slide. This time she slides down again. She hits the ground. And just like with a little more authority, she goes, I'm not afraid. And then still, she goes up the slide again. She goes down the slide. This time she hits the ground. And as if she's sticking it to fear and saying no, she's like, I am not afraid. And then she comes over to me. She goes, Mommy, you go down the slide. And I go, to see her response, I go, but I'm afraid. Like, I'm afraid. And she goes, it's okay. Jesus is with you. And so she takes me up the slide. I go down, and we go, I'm not afraid. So this just showed me that, just as I said before, like, God has taught me to walk out of fear and anxiousness so that I can teach my daughter. And so then the generations after her don't walk out in that. So whatever you're going through, it's time to seek the Lord in prayer on it. Don't go insane about it. Go and seek the Lord in prayer on it and see what he has to say. Yeah. Because it could be a change that he needs to make in you so that your family is changed. So that your children are changed. So that a friend who you've had a relationship with is changed.